Voice of the People FM from our studio. It's exactly now at 20 minutes pursuing the 7 p.m. mark. Welcome to the show. Another beautiful day it is, and of course quite a clement weather. However, is it clement now? Because the weather has been very hot. I don't know if you've been feeling the heat that I've been feeling. And never seem to be playing, two-side game, fair and unfair, at the same time. But I do hope that you're coping fine with the heat, right? Welcome to the evening rush. So this is what we get to discuss, conversations that have been on the lip of many in Nigeria for at least within the past 72 hours. And today won't be different from other days. By the way, my name is Precious. Today's Thursday, so I have Mr. Darlington with me in the studio. Good evening, Mr. Darlington, and welcome.
Good evening, Precious. How are you today?
You're sounding nice now. Good evening,
Lagos.
Precious. Good evening.
Good evening.
Like a nice guy.
Good
We know you're
evening.
not that nice.
Good evening, diaspora.
All right. Okay, so Lagos, on the hot topic this evening, not so much. We'll be paying attention to a few things that we think is very critical to the development of our continent, Africa. However, let's look at a few conversations that we may just chime in on this afternoon. Labour Party faction wants Tinubu sworn in, says Obi asking for impossible. That is the Lamidia Papa faction, just so you know. So include Sharia laws in prosecuting traffic offenders, says FRSC official. And that suggestion simply puts that the laws that we have are not effective and strong enough. That's why you still have people, break those laws. So if you have put stiffer penalties, people would learn to be cautious on the road and we can avoid road accidents, right? Sounds good. And of course, you hear yesterday, was it yesterday now? Yesterday or day before yesterday, we did talk about Nigeria's death profile. And yesterday, we also did discuss about the president, while still on the trip to the United Kingdom, whilst, he did go for the coronation of King Charles now, stayed back to attend to his tooth issues, sent a letter to the National Assembly requesting to borrow another $800 million from the World Bank. And that $800 million is meant to, to use to alleviate your sufferings and pains as regards nutrition, as regards education, as regards your health, as regards your human capital development. And that's the explanation the president gave to the National Assembly and the reason why they should consent that borrowing again. However, this morning, the Debt Management Office DMO has raised an alarm. Hey, wait, come on, we are exceeding our benchmark for borrowing. Big question. If we exceed the benchmark for borrowing, what then becomes of the next administration? That day I did call Mukhtar Mohammed was here. We did look at the task ahead for the next administration. I did said that even if you bring Alpha and Omega and put inside, the office of the president of Nigeria, it may not be easy for that person. Now, considering the fact that we have borrowed so much, we're drowning in debt, and this time around, all along, the federal government has been saying that, we still have the capacity to contain more debt. We still have capacity to absorb more debt. But right now, the debt management office has raised an alarm. We are exceeding gradually our debt benchmark. So if we do exceed that, what else do we do? Even internally, remember that we have over exceeded that of Ways and Means with Central Bank. To the extent now they want to not turn it to something that you and I will not invest in and pay back. You understand? Which is even illegal. Right? Okay. So what becomes of our country? What is the challenge facing the next person who will take over the affairs of this country? That is a big question that we don't even have answer to. And then let's even look at it from the broader view. Africa. So there was this conversation that the president of Kenya, William Ruto, had with Mo Ibrahim recently. And he did talk about how African leaders will no longer be answerable to the Western world just anyhow. Anyhow, we'll come and answer you people, you call us. So we have African summits, African Leaders Summit for United States. All our African leaders will pack to United States. Okay, we'll have one for France. They will pack to France. We'll have one for UK. They'll pack the old men that are older than the people who are calling them to come are going to answer them. You know, they don't get respect for our elders. Because if he's in Africa, how dare a junior person call you and you answer him? You know, that kind of thing. So he had said that Africa is going to look for common ways and all that to enhance its operations and its trade relations to ensure that the economy is strong enough. But how possible is that really? How feasible is that? I have a very long voice note, a sound bite I'm going to play of Williams Roach and Mo Ibrahim having that conversation. The reason I want to play that is for you to listen carefully so you understand the perspective to the conversation. So Lagos, let's take a little break and then we'll be right back. Once we come back from the break, we'll begin to dissect the conversation one at a time, and then I'll get you that voice note. Stay with us. This is the Evening Rush 90.3, Voice of the People FM. Again, my name is Precious. Welcome.
Evening Rush with Precious, featuring sound and informed guests across various sectors to discuss matters arising on Hot Topic Party.
What was the rate of inflation? And then what was the exchange rate?
Intense conversations, critical analysis.
What is wrong with us 200 million people? We can't even give ourselves.
We sometimes disagree.
When we say our GDP is not an oil-dominated,
to agree. On Hot Topic Pali, Monday to Friday, 90.3, Voice of the People FM, Lagos. Now you have a voice.
Right, Lagos, you are welcome back. 90.3 Voice of the People FM remains where you are. And yes, let's begin to dissect the conversations that we have one at a time very, very quickly. So first on our lineup of conversation is, of course, I'm sure you would have heard this earlier today, the Lamidi Apapa faction of the Labour Party has released a statement distancing itself from calls for an interim government and agitations that the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu not be sworn in on May 29, pending the resolution of the petitions before the Presidential Election Tribunal. So, according to the Labour Party faction, swearing in Tinubu on May 29 may not have any impact on the ongoing legal tussle on the presidential election involving party APC and INEC, right? So, the Labour Party, in a statement made available to newsmen today by the faction spokesman Abayomi Arabambi, argued that the Electoral Act and the Constitution of Nigeria do not provide room for a vacuum. So whether the president-elect is sworn in or not, there is right to remove legally. There is right to remove him legally if it is found out that he was not, duly elected. So he also did cite sections 136 and 146 of the Constitution. Aramabi said what Peter Obi is crying for is not supported by the law. The Peter Obi, what you're crying for is not supported by the law. He argued that a refusal to swear in Tinubu as president will create a vacuum in the system. So he went on and on and on and on and on. Yeah. So you already know all of this drama that is happening. However, you'd also recall that just last week or 2 weeks ago, Ned Nwoko, a senator in Delta State, had said that, the petition against Tinubu by the Labour Party and other parties is just dead on arrival because it's not even going to hold waters. Because, by the time he is sworn in, he becomes the president, the commander-in-chief. He becomes the head of everything. So he has a right to dictate. He has a right to sack, fire and hire judges, more like it. So fire and hire justices, both of the Supreme Court. So he can change anybody he wants to change. And he can handle the affairs of the country the way it suits him. And how can you win anybody like that in that kind of case when the person has the apparatus, the entire apparatus of the nation in his hands because he had been sworn in as a president? So that will be very difficult. Perhaps that's the direction that the Arabambi or Lamidi Apapa faction of the Labour Party is looking at that case from. Mr. Darlington, let's have you react to that.
Yeah, precious. When you hear things like this, it tells you one thing, and that is these people are calling for anarchy. They are heating up the polity on. In fact, they are stampeding the court. Coming from somebody who claimed to be a member of the Labour Party, this is wrong. Very, very wrong.
But what he's saying is constitutional.
Look,
There shouldn't be vacuum in government.
He's not the one to say it. You are not the one to discourage P2B from going ahead with his court cases.
He's not discouraging him.
As a member of the Labour Party, which you claim, you don't need to say such things. That is the truth. You don't need to say such things. It shouldn't come from you.
But is he not just being law-abiding? Don't you see it from that angle? Because what he said, there's nothing wrong with it.
He is a betrayer and a saboteur in Labour Party.
Oh, wow.
All along, you can see all his shenanigans. He's coming out gradually. Instead of these people to be advocating that, look, what is even wrong? If we say, okay, let us wait for a minute and see what happens. What is wrong there? Can't the National Assembly look at it, look at what is going on and say, to avoid a problem, let us extend this thing. After all, we have extended the elections here now. Because of the controversy surrounding this thing, let us extend these things.
But if that happens, that means the president will be sitting longer than required, which is also
there is nothing wrong there. After all, he has been crying that he wants to be president. Let him remain there.
Mr. Darlington, are you not being emotional? Are you not just being emotional?
I am not. I am only saying that the way these people are talking, they are creating problem. How can Ned Nwoko say what he said? So if
what he said is just factual.
It is not.
It is.
No, it is not.
The president is the commander-in-chief of the country. And he's in charge of every single apparatus of the country.
He is commanding to the extent that the law allows him. The law did not say that when he becomes the president, he should now pocket all other arms of government. And that is where we get it wrong. That is not what the law says. The law did not say that if you are the commander-in-chief, therefore you must pocket the judiciary, pocket the legislature, pocket our democracy. That is not what the law says. So these people are stampeding the court to tell him Tinubu what to do when he gets into office. And that is wrong. That's where I'm going. It's not proper for them to be making these type of statements when there is a matter in court. Why should the Ned say that? That's my question, because he's an APC man, Abi.
He's a PDP man, not an APC man.
I mean, whichever. It shouldn't come from him.
All right.
Telling us that the matter is dead on arrival. There are evidence. I mean, we are trying to make our democracy work, and some people are still insisting that we go back to 15th century. Why? Don't you know the impact it will make on our democracy? If the law look at this and say, no, something wrong was done, let us correct it. Look at what happened at Osun State. And then when we begin to do things like that, then it will make any politician to sit up. So that whenever you want to contest election, you no longer go and do something illegal with hope that the court will be at your beck and call, with the hope that the court will be on your own side, with the hope that the court will look at your antecedent and say, okay, we don't want to offend this man. No. Those things are, in fact, it is anti-democracy. We should not encourage it at all. We should not. All this noise that if he's swearing, the matter is dead. What kind of talk is that? That's not what we want.
But is asking for an interim government or a elongated tenure for the president not anti-democratic?
If we are sincere,
is it not?
If we are sincere, there are ways to these things. Remember that earlier on, Afe Babalola have called for interim government. We have seen it here before now. When Babangida stepped aside. And we couldn't, the part that we want to clean up our system is rotten. The system is rotten. And by the time you begin to do this consistently, it will make politicians to sit up so that whenever you are contesting the election, you will go there with a sincere heart. You will go there to play a fair game. But if we continue to allow this thing to continue to happen and all that, we are not making any headway. That means anybody can come tomorrow and rubbish our democracy, rubbish our electoral system, and we allow it to go. We say, hey, let us move on. The election is over. Let us move on. Me, I don't support it. If there is anything that can be done to correct what has been done I'm ready. I'm all for that. Whatever was done on the 25th and on the 18th was wrong, and everybody have said it. In fact, 80% of Nigerians agree that something went wrong on the 25th of February. So we must correct that thing so that we can move forward. You cannot move forward in iniquity. You can't move forward in illegality. That's what we are saying. We must tell our next chairman or whoever is that, look, this is what we want. This is how what can fine-tune our democracy. Not this thing you did. If we don't do it that way, that means the next one may be worse. It may be worse. So all these people that are saying that we should allow this into this, what's that supposed to mean? Okay, what if tomorrow now God proves otherwise? If God decides to end the world tomorrow, what will happen? Will anybody challenge him? What is the election that cannot be put on hold? What is America can even do things? Didn't you copy this democracy from America? Didn't we?
All right, so let's move to the next conversation very quickly. So on our next conversation, in a bid to stem the spate of road crashes in the country generally, the Sector Commander Federal Road Safety Corps in Bauchi State, Mr. Yusuf Abdullahi, that's his name, he's called for the inclusion of Sharia law in the prosecution of traffic offenders. So Abdullahi made the call during an interview with News Agency of Nigeria today, Thursday, in Bauchi State. According to him, he said the laws guiding road crashes are not stringent enough. Hence, the need for introduction of stiffer laws such as the Sharia law into traffic rules. Abdullahi said the measure would instill discipline, encourage respect for traffic rules, and promote safe road habits among motorists. So he urged that it would also curtail the spate of ugly scenes on the road occasioned by reckless driving. When you remember saying a Sharia law, now go deal with you. You go control yourself. That spirit of overspeeding will leave you. Now, he said, let us introduce Sharia law into road crashes and people will wake up. Our people are too careless and the vehicle owners don't bother to check them. If we don't introduce Sharia law, many road users, especially in this area, Bauchi State, would not start thinking twice before doing whatever they want to do. So the introduction of Sharia law will curtail the behavior or bad behavior, as most of the crashes are due to negative attitudes by motorists and other road users. So he went on and on with that. Mr. Darlington?
Please, I want to ask, this Sharia law he mentioned concerning road traffic, did he tell us what it entails? Is he telling me now that the Sharia law he wants to introduce into our road traffic system, it includes cutting of hand when you offend, when you go contrary to traffic law? Is that what is?
He said stiffer penalties.
What is that stiffer penalty? He should have spelled it out.
But don't you think that? I mean, you know the laws.
No. Hold on. Please, when they say these things, interrogate it. What is that thing in Sharia law? I know some states in the north where Sharia laws are practiced. You mean there are no road crashes there? People that are driving. That's
what he's saying. That's what he gave an example of the states that he is already in Bauchi State.
The places he mentioned. Can he tell us the rate of accident in that place? And can he tell us that it is only angels that are driving on the road in those states?
Oh, calm down now, Mr. Darlington.
No.
So what he's saying, so the road traffic rule in Bauchi State does not include Sharia law. So he's saying that even in Bauchi State,
what does it include?
They should include Sharia law to the road traffic laws.
FRSC is a federal agency. They have no room for your religious sentiment. The law applies to every state and every individual. Well, does he even know what he's saying? How do you introduce such a Sharia law? Already the FRSC, they have a law guiding them. They have an act guiding them.
So he said that the laws, the traffic laws are too weak, and that's why people.
Then the Sharia law he's talking about, is it to be cutting off people's hand? Because when they cut off your hand, you cannot know how to handle your steering very well. Is that what he's saying? Or cut off your leg so that you cannot be pressing your speedometer too hard. No, he should have told us now, because you drive with your hand and with your leg. So which one are they going to cut off if you commit any infractions on our road? Because the Sharia law that I know, The highest thing is they would, if you commit the first offense, they chop off the right hand. If you commit again, they chop off the left hand. And when you can no longer beg over there, they throw you down to Lagos here to come and constitute a nuisance. Is that what he's telling us? Because of road traffic offense, they will now be chopping off your legs so that you cannot be matching your speedometer too hard. Then the places where the Sharia laws are operating, what is the rate of compliance there? They have started again. Oh. That's why they wanted to introduce this in the Sharaki Senate. Remember, every time Sharia law, Sharia law, Sharia law. The places you implemented it, how good are the people there? The people practicing Sharia law, are they not the people embezzling money? No, tell me. Are they not the people committing all these atrocities in the country? As if Sharia law came from, is no longer, I mean, is a particular law that will make everybody to sit up. The people that are practicing it, let them show us example. With their character, with their behavior, with their performance in office, so that we can emulate them now. Every time they be insulting us with Sharia law, Sharia law. You're okay, Sharia law is superior to every other law. Is that what he's telling us? Then practice it, let us see it. Let it reflect in your actions, in your utterances, in your behavior, in your character. Every time Sharia law, we saw what is going on in Zamfara now, where Yerima introduced it the other time. What is going on there? No, tell me, what is going on there now? Sharia law. They should stop insulting us with this thing. It's like telling us that this other law that we are practicing is useless. It is only Sharia law that is superior to every other law. Tell us what you are going to do when somebody commits a traffic offense. You chop off his leg, Abi. Chop off his hand. Then what will you use to drive again? What is that punishment that you are going to give to that person? Let him mention it so that we can now interrogate it. So I don't see that thing, he's just talking to himself. Oh. FRSC, they have a law that guides everybody, every motorist in Nigeria. Let him keep his Sharia law to himself. We have had enough of it.
All right, Lagos, that's the conversation that we're having. 0700-903-9039. Our smart line is back up again, so you can call us now. Yes, that line is back again. 0700-903-9039. You can also call our WhatsApp line if you are in the diaspora. 0700-903-903-903. 0700-903-903-903. Let's take a few calls, reactions before we move to that William Ruto's statement, because that's a huge conversation and it would consume a lot of time. Hello, good evening to you. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Help me turn off the volume of your radio, please. I beg you, turn it off.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good
Thank you. Welcome.
May God bless you. Mr. Ladington, may God bless you. Always listen to your conversation. May God bless you. The system of this country, this Muslim ticket, this is what they are trying to introduce and make us not to be nothing before Nigeria. May God bless you. May God bless. I have nothing to. I just want to bless you with their wisdom to come out very boldly to let Nigeria know what the enemy is planning against themselves, not even Nigeria. May God bless you. Please, sir, I don't know whether you have your own particular book that you write about Nigerian law, because I really enjoy you. Whenever I tune Voice of Nigeria, I really cherish you. May God bless you, sir. That is exactly what I want to.
So that's why you don't want to tell me your name and where you're calling from, Abi?
Oh, sorry, madam. My name is Udom. I call at the Kotu area of Lagos. Sorry,
okay.
ma'am.
Mr. Odom, thank you.
Sister Precious. Good evening, ma.
Thank you.
Always enjoy your program.
Thank
you, ma.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Continue with your good work. May God help you.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, Lagos phone lines are still open. 0700-903-903-903. That smart number is back again and working, so you can call us on that line. 0700-903-903-903. The WhatsApp line is 0700-903-903-9. For those watching from YouTube and would love to joining the conversation from the diaspora, 0700-903-903-9. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hello?
He can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
He can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. You can satellite.
Okay.
Welcome.
My contribution is that there will be no Sharia. You see what is happening for Afghanistan and the other sides. Let them not introduce what we cannot finish. What we end up our life. We don't want that Sharia of it. If they want to do Sharia, let them go to Afghanistan or the other side of that to win Afghanistan. So Nigeria don't want it. So that is my contribution.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, Lagos, phone lines are still open. Let's take your thoughts, your reactions on the conversation. By the way, you can also do me a WhatsApp message on that WhatsApp line, 0700-903-9039. That's the WhatsApp line, 0700-903-9039. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Good evening. Good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Special, good evening.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Darlington, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Biodi. I'm calling from Janison.
Biodi, you're welcome.
Mr. Darlington, Mr. Darlington, I pray God will be with you. With your spirit, they don't want spirit of truth in this country. I just forgot to visit you. That's for that. Concerning that Sharia issue, in fact, all those people they practice Sharia, I think all that about for I'm taking enough. Look at what's going on there. Poverty, you see banditry, terrorism, and so on. They shouldn't bring that one. We are tired of all those ones. It's just a fraud. I can someone bring the just sentiment into laws of federal safety. I don't know. Fine, the laws may be weak, but it's not about bringing Sharia. I won't solve the problem.
So you agree that the laws may be weak or are weak?
Yeah, of course. All the laws in this country are weak. All the laws, even courts, everything. They are just embezzlement. I've just seen law against embezzlement in Nigeria. They are weak laws. Except if the government really hates you. Well, at that time, they will just start, look at what happens to Nalikano. You just start lying on something. But aside that, I pray God will send more angels to protect you in this country.
Thank you.
No, you see, our laws are not weak. Oh. It is the implementation. We are fine laws, well written, well articulated, but implementation. That is the problem. That is the issue. And the weakness comes from the man at the helm of affairs. He may decide to overlook them. Are you getting what I'm saying? Like, look at Lagos State now. Whenever they want to be a nice guy, they allow Okada people even where they have banned them from passing through. But whenever they lie, they'll ban them again. So it is these weaknesses in the attitude of leader that is the problem, not the laws. Not the laws. Precious. I traveled to Dubai and I discovered that these people, everything that you say, Sharia, whatever, they practice them. They play disco. I'm telling you, even in their hotel, you drink beer, but you can't get out of that hotel with the beer. Whenever they open it for you, they will give you popcorn in a bowl for you to eat it with the beer. Yeah. But you can't go outside that hotel with the beer. Because they say they catch you and trace it to their hotel, they will find them heavily.
So it's restricted.
It's restricted. So all these things that they are talking about, okay, look at, they say no alcohol in Kano. Remember when they destroyed over 200 billion
worth of constant destruction.
Good. But they collect the VAT from this thing that we are consuming here. So we are the only people that are allowed to drink beer. But the VAT that come from this consumption, they share from it. Look at the contradiction. Look at the hypocrisy. Why not tell the government, any VAT that comes from alcohol sales, don't give us. That's what I expect them to do. So that we know that they are serious.
Can anybody say no to money? Let me go back to the phone line.
So that we know that yes, they are serious about what they are saying. Yes, now.
Hello, good evening to you.
Let them say it.
Good evening.
Thank you. Welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richie calling from Motion.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Well, please don't ask me. That person that is saying he should impose Sharia law, what's his name?
What's his name?
Yes.
Did I not say his name? His name is Mr. Yusuf Abdullahi.
No wonder. Because of that, another S, the worry.
Don't
Sharia law
be like this.
is, you know, it's
No,
traditional
no. Don't say
it-
that. Don't do that, please. Don't do that on public radio.
Oh, he's saying his own now. You see, that's one of the reasons. You do remember that in the second Senate, in the 8th Senate under Sharaki, they introduced this Sharia law to supplant it with our constitution until some of us raise alarm. It has gone through the second reading, no. I'm telling you. So it's not today that they've been pushing this agenda.
All right.
They even introduced the grazing bill. Do you know one of the clauses in the grazing bill? They said anywhere, any place that any herdsman sees as is a place that he is good for him to rear his cattle, he will take over that place. And you, the owner of that place, you can't go to court and you can't go to police. Pressure, look at that law. Look at that law. Eh? If not that some of us raise the alarm and say, in fact, we bombarded that National Assembly with a petition. That was why they threw it away through the window. But somebody sat down and wrote that law, and you want the peace of this country, for God's sake. How can you introduce such a bill?
All right, so let me quickly run through some messages. My guys from YouTube, I see you. Tony Chukudi says, good evening, beautiful, precious, and the best, Mr. Darlington. I hope you both had a good day. No, we didn't. Will you help us have a good day? To listen to the, I love to listen to the good evening rush. Loving it. And he said, Mr. Darlington, I remove my cap for you, speaking truth to power. My lovely precious, you have started again. Leave Mr. Darlington to talk. And no holy mouth. The Nigerian politicians have pushed we common Nigerians to the level of being aggressive. And then great topic as usual. Thanks. Thank you, my dear Precious. And Yoruba TV says, good evening, Precious. Mr. Darlington and Honorable Precious. Hey, Nigeria is turning into another thing. Oh, Sharia law and Nigerian law in one country. Please, my Nigerian international passport is for sale. Who go buy? Who go buy? Better carry yourself and come back here now. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening to you. Hello?
Hello, good evening, Precious Sharia.
I know,
how are you?
Immediately I said, hello. Immediately I heard that I knew it was you. And I was waiting. My brain was that fast to think ahead. You're welcome, Nadu from Switzerland.
Mr. Darlington have said it all. Dubai that practice Sharia, you can drink alcohol in the hotel. I'm a traveler also. Even Saudi Arabia. Okay, let me tell you. Most all Arabic countries, you can buy alcohol in their airports.
I'm telling you.
Yes. Free duty. Yes.
You carry
free duty.
As you are going into the airport.
You can buy alcohol in their free duty. Even though it has maximum, but you can get alcohol in their free duties.
I want to ask a question, Enedu, now that we're talking about this, because it's not peculiar to just Islamic religion, even the Christianity.
Yeah.
It looks as if Africans are a bit more extreme in religion than the other parts of the world. Because
the people that brought the religion.
Just like you mentioned that even in Saudi Arabia, that is supposed to be the headquarters of the Islamic religion, right? Even we Nigerians, I said it here before that the laws that guides fasting in most of our modern churches in Nigeria does not guide. It's not the same law that guides fasting in that same church in Europe, in America, or in the UK.
No,
it's different. Why? Why is it like that? The same thing you cannot wear to enter the church in Nigeria. You can wear it and enter there. Why?
The problem is hypocrisy.
Exactly.
Our hypocrisy is too much. A reverend father, a priest who just finished service will just come out of door of the church and light up cigarette and smoking. It's no problem. Imagine seeing a reverend father or a priest or a pastor smoking in Nigeria. Social media go carry on.
I'm telling you.
Women wear trousers
to church.
To churches. Let me give you one instance. This happened like 10 years ago. I'm from Nnewi precisely. So there were this village masquerade thing. And one masquerade we are coming. I have teenagers, my nieces that was with me. So they want to run into a church. Because they were putting on trousers. These girls are 12, 13, 14 years. The security man said, no, those with trousers will not come in here. Can you imagine? He blocked them. So if this masquerade is going to kill them, he kill them. Look, we have the law, like Mr. Darlington said, but implementation failed. Let me give you instance. Do you know every country has the law that abides with them? Yeah. They can make it strong, hard. Let me give you one instance in this country. If I'm drunk now, not that maybe I'm totally drunk like Nigeria used to be drunk and drive, but I took alcohol that I cannot be able to drive, because you cannot, even a bottle of Guinness, a bottle of small stout, when you drink it, you cannot drive in this country. Yes.
Why?
And my friends, they have driving license. Nigeria, you can finish one bottle of Hennessy and start your motor, go home. Oh, they don't have what to measure the alcohol content you have in your body.
That you've taken a drink if you're still in control of your driving?
Precious is very simple. They give you something to blow. Immediately you blow it, you show alcohol content you have in your blood, in your mouth.
So at least you will default in driving first before they will do that, right?
Yes.
So assuming you drink and you don't default because you're still in control, what happens?
No. Every weekend, let me tell you, every weekend, police used to stay the roads to highways. People are going home. Most weekends, 90%, most weekend, they stop every. No matter how cool you try to drive, they stop most 90% of the cars passing by. They control some, they look at you, they can tell you go. Even you default or you don't default, they just give you something to blow. You blow it, it shows the alcohol percentage you have. But that will not show the total percentage you have. Now, when they are not convinced, they call a doctor. They take a blood from you. Finish. It will show. Let me tell you, when they take your license in this country, precious, it costs a lot. Because you'll be going to see a doctor every month is 500 francs. 500 francs is above $500. And every 4 months you pay 1,000. For 2 years, alcohol will not test your mouth. Let me tell you, even if you travel to Nigeria and come back, you drink alcohol in Nigeria, they just need a hair from any part of your body. Tell them that you took alcohol. Or even a winch now, they are not like us. So, like what I was saying, if I took alcohol now, that I know that I drink alcohol, that I will not be able, I'm not supposed to drive, and I steering, and I have 3 friends who have driving in this car, even though none of them took alcohol. If I got a control, and my license is going to be taken away. If it's 3 months, most is 3 months. All the people that have driving license in that car that allow me to drive while they know that I was drunk, everybody license is going as well. Yes. That is the new law here. Everybody license is going out. Yes.
All right.
Everybody license is going.
Let me let others talk. You've spoken for a while. Thank you so much.
So the issue is our country is they just try to oppress. They always try to oppress. They have built institution where they will oppress the poor, and the rich will live.
Thank you.
And the poor is dancing on their. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much. You too have a great evening. All right. Hello. Good evening to you.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah. It's Tony Chukwudi.
Tony, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah. There is something that Edu is saying, and what Mr. Daniels, I greet you.
I greet you, my brother.
Yeah, a good man. May God keep you.
Amen.
And keep you precious.
Thank you. Amen.
Every.
Go ahead. You don't know why I laugh.
Everywhere you go.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Why do you?
Thank you. It's okay.
Okay.
Let's leave that aside. It's a joke.
So everywhere you go in the Islamic, even Indonesia, these people, you are talking of the religion they brought to us is totally a different thing. The religion they brought to us is absolutely a different thing. what Nedi is telling you is true. In terms of alcohol, I'm a lorry driver. I drive heavy duty.
Okay.
Before in France, before you start the ignition of a coach, what we call exhaust buses, you must blow into the system if you have tested alcohol. And it's only when you blow that coach will start. If it's 0-0.
Oh, just hold on. So it is so the test kit is attached to the ignition of your car, basically.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So most of the system, even now as we are driving, when you are driving on the road, the police have the gadget to monitor you as you are driving. That's a new system to know whether you have taken your break or you have not taken a break. And drink, like let's say some people will come back and drink on Sunday and on Friday. If that person finish one bottle of Hennessy or who knows the quantity, the alcohol lasts in that person's body for 2 to 3 days, depending the quantity the person has taken. And when they told you to blow the what do they call it? Because I speak German, I know some of them in German. The tester, the kit. When the person blows in there, it will. And then they will just take the key away from you and handcuff if it's too much.
And we're complaining why we have too many accidents on our road. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Is that handcuff?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Lagos. So this is still the evening rush, 90.3 Voice of the People FM. So this evening we're looking at about 3 conversations, but we're keeping the other one. Let's say we're keeping the best for the last, right? So the first conversation we had today is about Labour Party faction wanting or asking, the Lamidia Papa-led Labour Party faction is asking that the president-elect Tinubu must be sworn in, that P2B is asking for the impossible, for seeking that perhaps swearing in should not be done till the electoral tribunal or election tribunal is over, right? And then I also did tell you that an FRSC official, as a matter of fact, the sector commander, Federal Road Safety Corps in Bauchi State, is asking or requesting that Sharia law be included in the FRS in Nigeria generally, or Sharia law be included, because the Nigerian driver needs stiffer penalties to deter them from committing traffic offenses. So, and these are the conversations that we'll be having. Phone lines are still open.
Please,
yes,
I want to ask. Now that Tinubu is not around, nobody told us when he's coming back. Buhari is not around. This thing that
so the two of them will be back before the inauguration. That's what we're Buhari's dentist is keeping him.
Listen very well. Listen. When Tinubu came back 2 weeks ago, did he not tell us that he's not going anywhere again?
Oh, okay. So did you hear that he's going to woo investors into the country? And he's there to also ensure that he plans for the swearing in. Well, that's the message by his media aide. He went to ensure that he plans for the swearing in because there are lots of distractions around here in Nigeria.
Oh, so anytime Tinubu wants to do anything in Nigeria, to avoid distractions, he will run to France to go and plan it. Is that what you are telling me now? No, if Tinubu wants to do anything in Nigeria now, let's assume he goes in. Anytime you want to plan anything, anytime you want to do anything, he will first of all go to France to avoid the distraction.
All right, Mr. Darlington, let me read some messages. I have a lot of messages. Good evening, Mrs. Precious and Mr. Darlington. Please let them borrow in their own names from now henceforth. After, now them go pay for them. Not be Nigeria, right? That's talking about DMO saying that the federal government is exceeding its benchmark on borrowing. And then this message says, good afternoon, Precious. Promote things that unite us in Nigeria. Use every avenue to unite us and not divide us. In any election, there must be a winner and loser. Don't promote war. Good afternoon. I deliberately read your message because this is not the first time you're sending it. I am not promoting war in Nigeria. I am not promoting disunity. You're here when I always tell my callers to excuse and mind their languages so that we do not incite violence. I am true to my profession, Mr. Darlington. So I'm true to my profession and I know what I'm doing. However, what you are telling me to do is, if I see a news that does not favor you or does not favor the status quo, I should ignore it. So if we keep ignoring news that does not favor the status quo, does not favor you, until those news or those stories become things that will eventually fire back at us and disturb us, what happens? My job as a media, is to ensure that I raise those topics. In fact, as a matter of fact, this show is to look at those corner things that people don't like to talk about. And that's the essence of this show. If you do not like it, it's fine. But that's the essence of this program. And I'll keep speaking
apart from
truth
what you are saying,
to the things that happen in this country.
Please.
Thank you.
Did this person listen to other radio stations? Can that person tell me that no other radio station have discussed these topics today?
I don't know. I just thought to address it properly.
Can you just
so that's why. All right, so Mr. Darlington will have so many messages. Let's start on the side.
In fact, I don't get it.
Hello, precious. Darlington made me listening to your program. Please always bring him to the studio. You go pay him salary to always educate us. God bless you, Mr. Darlington. Okay, Augustine from Ilasama just sent it that means you go pay him salary. Will you pay his salary? You like better thing? Will you pay? Mr. Darlington, you just made my day with the comic analysis about the Sharia law. You cut the hand, then the person will be handling the steering with one hand effectively. When they cut off the leg, then maybe the person should use his teeth to throttle. But on a serious note, we should ask them about the stiffer punishment so we would know. This is how we were told about change. We did not ask what kind of change we were going to have, right? We did not also ask about the next level until we're suffering a higher level of suffer right now. That's what you said, or not me. And he said, I think we should introduce Ogun Amadioha to road traffic, not only Sharia law, so that we would make success. Nonsense. That's what he said. Shadrach sent in that message. And then he says, good evening, VOP. May God bless you guys abundantly in Jesus' name. Amen. Please, them go, he said what? Let them go away with their Sharia law, because those that implemented the law are the worst people in Nigeria. Undiluted bossman. Pepper them. Ikoto Egbe. Look, calm down. Ikoto Egbe, rather. Thank you so much. And then this says, hey, see, Dayo, this your message is true. You put everything together, no paragraphing, no. It's very difficult to read, honestly speaking. And then you don't have to make it so lengthy to make for easy read. But let me try to see how much I can read. And then he said, Mr. Darlington is always my man of the year. Congratulations. Your president is on 1 week extension on tooth medication. Also, your president-elect is now on medical trip. For the 8 years, your president is on medical trip. No hospital, no facilities to help the existing ones. Most doctors has jacked, but the highest in the world is there, and teeth that our dentists cannot treat in Nigeria. The medical trip and treatments he has been doing will build at least a world-class hospital for the 8 years for your elected president. Two has been doing the same thing, following the legacy of his Oga for the last 24 years in Lagos. No hospital in Lagos which he didn't build can treat him for his ailments. That he went on and on and on. I appreciate you that you're from Fagba, right? All right. Emmanuel Odu from First Access. Good evening, precious and Darlington. The truth about our country is not just the constitution, but the system and government we operate, which is the most overlooked in our analysis and media. The existing system separates the masses from their rulers. How do we make it impossible for leaders to do whatever they like and to must do what the people want? For example, let the police force be directly under the judicial system. In regards the Sharia law, we all have different faiths. It's better we face governance and allow politicians to keep let them stop fooling us. That's what you said. And then Sonny says, good evening, precious. Nice job you're doing. If they want to practice Sharia something, please let them impose it only to Muslims. Enough of bloody and undesirable law. Sorry, my name is Elijah from Ishere. Elijah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let me quickly go back to the phone lines now. Hello, good evening to you. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, precious. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good evening. So we are discussing two things this right now. Okay, about three. We're looking at the fact that DMO is saying that we're beginning to hit the end of our benchmark for borrowing. and then an FRSC official saying that we need to introduce stiffer laws like Sharia law so that people will stop deterring or committing traffic offenses. And the faction of Labour Party saying that what Obi is asking for is impossible. So which would you like to react to, sir?
All of them is in the impunity given by the colonial master. That is what is giving them that right for them to be misbehaving as if there is no human being living there. So then we just woke up and went and go and borrow money. And after I will be paying them what I did not eat. And when I'm about to react to fight for my things, then we say that I am violent. You see, one thing before civil war in Nigeria is this kind of a thing brought civil war. You cannot continue stealing from people, and they don't want the people to speak or to react. So that is what it is. The polity the British are giving them is, one thing you have to know, Precious. There is a lot of people in this outside working with CIA, working with FBI, working so many security departments here in Western world, and they are Igbos, including Marine. There is a lot of them, both Yorubas. There is a lot of Nigerians working here. They know every information, and they are listening to you. So the people who thinking that they are there, they have power to do whatever they want to do. They don't have the power. It's the impunity given by British give them that power. Yeah. If someone will seek, he will fly down to France, and then we'll be telling you, instead of him to report in court, he think that he's smart. He just sneak out. Instead of him coming to the court, he sneak out, thinking that he's coming to swear. He's not gonna swear in. They are just wasting their time.
That conversation is actually not part of our conversation.
No,
so
Precious.
Thank you so much.
It's just for them together.
No,
I regard to Mr. Darlington.
Yes, my brother. You see, on a more serious note, these are part of the thing we are talking about. If we want to build this democracy, we must hold leaders accountable. We must not continue to sweep everything under the carpet. What these people have done in office, it is an aberration. Seriously, the level of impunity and arrogance is so annoying. You just wake up, you travel anyhow, you don't bother, you don't care, you do things anyhow. You borrow money without appropriation, you just do things, everything upside down. Is that how people do this in abroad? Precious, an American president, he cannot borrow 1 naira from anywhere without the Congress or the Senate endorsing. And he will not even see to implement. There are institutions that manage it. You can never see an American president with chairman of the Federal Reserve going inside the room to go and have meeting like Emefiele was doing with Buhari when they were trying to change our naira and all that. In fact, that day, the opposition will call for his impeachment. It can never happen. But look at what we are seeing here. And I'm asking, is that how we are going to grow this democracy? Is that what we are going to leave to our children? All this impunity and arrogance, how can it deepen our democracy? How can it make us grow? How can the international community look at us as part of the human race? These are issues now. You have a very serious matter at home. You say you want to go and woo investors. For God's sake, on what authority can you do that? You are not yet sworn in. It is only when you are sworn in that the investor can even listen to you, not that you are a substantive president.
But he is a president-elect. Let me sit down.
When you are elected,
let's
you
go
have
back
not
to the
been
phone
sworn
lines.
in.
All
you
right.
have not been sworn in,
Hello,
please.
Pastor, good evening.
That's not what the law says.
Yes, good evening.
Mr. Darlington, good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Emeka speaking from Okota.
Thank you.
Mr. Darlington, Nigerian problem, we all are the causes of Nigerian problem. Mr. Darlington, during the election, most Nigerians will vote for criminal whom has given them money. But that good man who has not given them money, they will not vote for him. They after voting for him on Saturday.
Can you just go straight on to speak to the topic, please? So that we
that
don't
is what I'm saying. We
so
are the cause of our problem. We have to start to change to get a better Nigeria. Okay, what are our senators? What are our federal house of rep members? What are they doing? So what are they doing? If what the president is doing is bad, why can't they bandwagon with him? Whatever he said, they endorse it. If this money has been borrowed, can't Nigeria not pay for it? Can't the senators and federal house of
Can they not it by the side? And Nigeria will not pay that money if it's not taken properly the way it should be taken, like the way it happened in other parts of the world. Why is Nigeria different? So we all are the cause of the problem. We need to start to change to get a better society. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Precious,
you. Thank you.
To be fair to Nigerians, to be really fair to Nigerians, they have tried. Seriously. This idea that people get the government they deserve, it is a lie from the Nigerian perspective. The Nigerian people have always wanted good leaders. I am telling you authoritatively.
All right.
They have always
Mr.
wanted
Danny,
good leaders.
let me take some messages. I have lots of it here. And
the one they imposed on them in Imo State, was it the impulse of Imo people? The election that passed the other time, look at what happened. Where people were intimidated. Where people were told to vote according to their will. Is that the fault of a Nigerian man or woman?
All right, so let's go back to the phone
So
lines,
you
Mr.
can see what is going on, though.
Hello, good evening.
The devil is in charge in Nigeria. I don't know what is going on.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome.
Mr. Darlington, good evening, sir.
Good evening, my brother.
I've been trying to get this line, but thank God I got it.
Thank you. Apologies.
Sister Precious.
Sir?
I do follow you up in our FM.
Oh, wow. Thank you. TV.
So, my name is Kingsley.
Kingsley, you're welcome.
I've called this station before.
Thank you.
I want to say something very important.
Okay.
Mr. Darlington has been speaking for a long time. Everybody, we are happy with what he's saying. Now, I know that Nigerian government, they really know what they are doing. For the greatest part, the worst part of it is that Nigerians will be busy, saying things that are not on point. Just for example, the election, everybody knows what happened in the election. Then right now, the people are in court. 2 days ago, the president left Nigeria. The other one left just yesterday. Yes, Nigerians are not saying things that will help their life. We are busy talking about things that does not matter. We know very well that APC government is above the law. There is no two ways about it. We know very well that Tinubu himself is above the law.
Can you speak to the topic that we have? Please don't do the. No, you're not. You're not doing that. You're deterring us, and that's the you're taking us to another place. That's not what you're doing. Just go straight to your points because you've consumed 3 minutes and you haven't said anything.
My point is this: if somebody is above the law and the law is not doing anything, the people are not doing anything, there is nothing we can do about it. All we need to do is to receive whatever they are giving us, depending on when God takes their life. That's the only thing I have to say. Because I don't know another thing that will happen before Nigerians will react.
I appreciate you. What kind of reaction are you really expect? So it's okay. Let me let you go. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
During the election. All the people that signed the peace accord, where are they? They have not said anything up to now.
Thank you, Kingsley.
The peace accord time, they are not doing anything concerning it.
Thank you, Kingsley. I appreciate you.
Actually, you see, some of these things, like somebody will tell it is the people we voted. We didn't vote most of them now. Is it not obvious?
All right, so Mr. Darlington, let me run through my messages.
Papa is saying that he must be sworn in. What if the doctor said that Tinubu should stay a while?
The president-elect tell you that he has any health issue?
Hold on. The president...
Well, Mr. Darlington, let me read my message.
Hold on. The president on office, he went for coronation of a prince, of a king. Mm-hmm. Why is he now staying back?
Did you not hear that his dentist asked him to stay back?
That's what I said, but when he left...
So can Tits not paying somebody?
He left for coronation.
Can Tits not paying you?
What did
Mr. Darlington, all right.
What meat did he eat there? What meat? What meat did he eat there?
All right, so let me quickly run through some messages. Please, to ensure that I am able to read your message, kindly make it very short and precise, right? My own is, when are you starting the countdown to inauguration? May 29 is the key. You cannot consume alcohol in Saudi Arabia. Stop this information, please. Mr. Darlington, the person say you cannot consume alcohol.
Not me. I didn't say Saudi Arabia.
All right. Good evening.
I said Dubai.
What's his name? It was they do. He said in their airports. In their airports, right?
Airport.
Okay. Good evening, Sir Darlington and Precious. I just want to Thank you, Sir Darlington. It has always been a blessing to have you, right? And then, how do you establish Sharia laws in Nigeria where there is Christians and other religions? How do you know or practice Sharia law? It's not going to work. Regina Chile sent in that message. And
they are practicing it in Kano. You can't wear trousers. They can't see a girl and a boy walking the streets in Kano.
Prince Francis Chilaka says, good evening, Precious. Sharia law has not worked in some states where it's been practiced. Rather, it's one law that continues to have its teeth on the poor masses. How many elites have been seen being probed under the same Sharia law? It's time people realized that Nigeria is a secular state and should be respected as such. On the subject of Mr. President asking for approval to collect more loan, height of impunity and on the sensitivity of Nigerians, how can a government that has less than 3 weeks to go be wanting to borrow fund? There's really more to it than meets the eye. The judiciary is responsible for the crisis rocking the Labour Party. It's really unfortunate that their Papa group is towing this line. I wonder the type of legacy these elders want to leave to the younger generation. What a shame. That's what you said. And then this says, if Sharia law is introduced in Lagos, I bet you many would be amputated. In fact, many would die. And then good evening, Precious and Darlington. I laugh in Swahili whenever APC people talk about uniting Nigerians. All I know is there is no peace when there is no justice. Casey from Oshodi is writing that. And he says, good evening, Mr. Darlington and Pretty Precious. The Sharia law cannot be adopted into FRSC rules because the Sharia law applies to the poor largely. So it's another oppression of the Nigerian citizen. I also want to implore the media to stop referring to the Lamidi Papa faction et al. As a faction of Labour Party. They have been expelled, were on suspension when they went on judicial rascality spree. I sincerely believe they must not be referred to as a faction of Labour Party. Semisola sent that from his solo. And then Darlington, they said Tinubu went abroad to woo investors. That's about the dash. The last time I checked, Buhari's tenure is still on. Tinubu is continuing from where Buhari stopped in terms of going abroad for media round. That's how bad. He said that's how bad it is. Shame on Thank you. All right, on La Media Papa, you said that. And this is who again? Who sent in that message? That's Emperor Chuk sent in. Who sent in that message? And then this says, Precious, you are dignifying that person who says what Obi is asking for is impracticable. How can you call such a fellow faction of LP? He is a saboteur, an imposter rather. I'm not the one who writes this news. I hope you know that, right? Okay. So if you may, it is laughable that the president would jet out for med to check up. Medical sector is called for questioning. He says, all right, that's what you said. And then he said, he talked about the loan issue too. And your name is Tony Anili from Ijegemo. I appreciate you. I beg, continue to talk about Nigeria issues, Joe, so we can both fit this blessed country back, or fix, that's what you mean, fix this blessed country back. I see you, Mr. Darlington. May God continue to protect you. Lucky from Lucky sent in that message. You go say amen. Amen. Valveji from Oshodi says, good evening, Precious and Oga Darlington. Trust today is good. You can see how good it is. Mr. Darlington is giving me fire. Please, can anyone explain to Nigerians what Sharia law is? I mean, is it kind of another law? Is it applicable for the Muslims or for everyone? It's supposed, kindly help me Google, because I would not want to make that explanation. It's supposed to be for Islams, but I wonder why they cannot cut the hands on legs of Muslims who have stolen Nigerian money. See, those that stole Nigerians' money, why can they not cut their hands and legs? Why is the law selective of who they cut their hands and legs? That's what you're saying. All right, so I have quite a lot of other reactions. My phone lines have been buzzing non-stop. But let's quickly take a little breather. I see you guys, all of you on YouTube. I see you. All right. So Yoruba says, yes, what Mr. Darlington is saying is true. They don't need to collect any money from alcoholic because I cannot collect any money from Olusho. That's what he said. Olainka says, okay, is Nigeria a Muslim country? Tony says, my beautiful Precious, why are you laughing? Okay, yeah. Manuel Licano says, Mr. Papa, or whatever the name represents, is just looking for popularity. He faced no I can't read what you said there. So let me take a few calls and then we go straight to what the president of Kenya, William Ruto, said about African leaders. Hello, good evening to you. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir. Welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Chooks from Italy.
Chooks, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
You're looking good today. You're looking good. You're looking great today.
Thank you. If I can look good without makeup, that's interesting. My lipstick always saves the day, right? Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You see, in terms of Lamidia Papa, we know he's working for.
Your line is cutting off.
Working for. Let me ask you one question. Let me ask you one question.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, be asking. No, ask the one I can answer. Go ahead.
Wasn't it among the 12 disciples? Was it not the carrot? Was it not among the 12 disciples? It was among the 12 disciples. What was his position among the 12 disciples?
It was their treasurer.
But it was still him that sought Christ. Let's talk about
the holder of money likes money, Lord. All right, go ahead.
Let's hold on about. Let's leave our Papa's zone. Our Papa knows his problem. We know who our Papa is working for. Let's leave him alone. My own concern is whatever Sharia law they want to pass, let them pass it. If they want to start cutting their own arms and legs, no problem. But where they will have problem with me is when they will say they should pass a law. We should start with the way we will meet our wife or our girlfriend. Then we will now know we are in problem. Good night, Sister Precious.
Thank you. Good night to you too. Okay, so laws that has to do with that. They're telling you when you should meet your wives and girlfriends. Don't do at this time. Do it at this time.
Yes,
oh wow, interesting. All right, so Lagos. I did tell you earlier that so the president of Kenya, William Ruto, was with Mo Ibrahim, and he had an intense conversation with him. So let's quickly play you an excerpt of that conversation. It may be a long listen, but kindly listen to it very attentive. Pick every single thing you want to pick on it, and then let's have Mr. Darlington react on it, and let's also have you react on it. But one of the things that he said, very critical, is the fact that world leaders will no longer be calling on African leaders like their kids, and they will pack and follow them. In fact, he even mentioned they'll pack all of them inside bus like school children, and they'll go and answer them and all of that. But then how can you strengthen the economy of Africa to ensure that you're no longer answerable to these, to the West, or you're no longer at their beck and call? That's a question for another day. But let's take a listen to what he said.
Decided, for example, that we are going to assemble our market. The positive thing is that there is a realization that it cannot continue this way. We have what it takes to fix it. And the conversation is already begun on what do we realistically do to be able to get the African Union to take charge of the affairs of our continent. Let me give you a case in point. We decided, for example, that we are going to assemble our market using the Africa Continental Free Trade Area market.
Yes, that's good
ecosystem.
Yeah.
And the positive thing is that it was unbelievable at the rate at which we were able to achieve consensus and we were able to achieve ratification. And I want to tell you, it is among the things that happened in the shortest time possible. It tells you there is greater realization that unless we act in concert, unless we act together, we are unlikely to make any impact anywhere. We have, at least on the market issue, we have put that together. There is a debate that is going to evolve. Like, for example, we have also decided that it will not going to be business as usual. We have these meetings, Africa, US meeting, Africa, Europe, Africa, Turkey, Africa,
India.
Now we are waiting for, there is another one, Africa, Russia.
And Africa, Japan.
And Africa, Japan. We have made the decision that it is not intelligent for 54 of us to go and sit before one gentleman from another place. And I mean, and sometimes we are mistreated.
Yeah.
You know, we are loaded into buses like school kids. You know, and it's not right.
Well, you are summoned, you know.
It's not right. So the decision that we have made as AU is that going forward, if there is going to be a discussion between Africa and any other country, we are going to be represented by the chair, the outgoing chair, the bureau.
Chair of the commission or the chair
and the chair of the Rex, and we have 5 Rex. That should be sufficient for, a meeting of maybe 6-7. Yeah. That should be able to represent Africa. And that is the position I am taking as the president of Kenya. For any other meeting that we are going to have with all these requests that we have a meeting between Africa and one other country, we respect the sovereignty of others. I think to ask for reciprocation is not to ask for too much.
No.
And for us to agree that let us have this kind of setup. The only, because I had a conversation with President Kagame, and he actually led that particular position. I have had a conversation with Prime Minister Abiy. He believes very strongly that that should be the position of our continent. Because, as you have said, if we don't respect ourselves, nobody is going to respect us. And we should.
All right, you heard that. He said if we do not respect ourselves, nobody is going to respect us. So, Mr. Darlington, what do you make of the stand of African leaders? Before I ask you how feasible that is, anyway.
You see, this particular position, the man that is saying it now, he will not remain there in office forever. When he leaves, somebody will come who will be a lackey to the West. Who will be somebody that the West installed. That is the problem of Africa. So
how can the Western world install a leader for you anyways?
Look, Pressure, don't deceive yourself. Nigeria is a typical example. If you say such a thing, I know that our present leadership, they will not agree with you because UK, London and France have become part of Nigeria as of today. They will not abide by that decision. Quote me. They will not even listen to you because I don't know the covenant they have with UK and France. So you will always have a saboteur among them. By the way, who is giving you the money that you are squandering in Africa? Is it not these people? He who pays the piper dictates the tune. No, I don't know whether you have forgotten. Every African nation I know today is owing either IMF, World Bank, or Paris Club.
The entire 54 countries.
Every one of them is owing money somewhere outside Africa.
And yet we're also rich.
Because you have not learned to harness the resources you have. Look at Nigeria. Precious, look at Nigeria. Oil producing nation.
Oh, by the way, we've lost that position of the highest oil producing country.
We are not higher, but we are producing
in Africa to Angola.
Yes,
Angola now.
Yes.
Angola is taking over.
We are producing, but what is the impact? Pressure, what is the impact? The little you are using here, is it not Shell and Mobil and all these oil major? If they withdraw today, your economy is gone. You can't even refine your oil. You have to take it outside. The same Western world, though. They will refine it and they bring it back for you to buy. And you are telling me you have leaders. Where does that happen? Look at the people are cashing out with Russia and Ukraine war. Saudi Arabia made so much money that the United Nations raised alarm. Nobody have asked Saudi Arabia, please. The people that are promoting Sharia, Saudi Arabia, is it not a Muslim country? Why are they making progress? Precious, why are they making progress? Why is Dubai making progress? Why is Qatar making progress? These are oil producing nations. They don't have any other thing. To tell you that something is wrong here. This thing that this man is championing in Kenya, if Nigeria were to be Nigeria, Nigeria should be the one saying it. In fact, Nigeria should have been the headquarters of African nations. Anything they want to do, they will come and do it here. Imagine anything going on in Latin America, and you invite an American president to come there.
Did you hear the African summit in Europe, African summit in different countries?
That is the truth. That is the truth. You want to discuss my matter, something that is happening in my house. You now ask me to come to your own house.
So what William Ruto is saying, he's not even saying that they will no longer go, that those people should come to them. I was expecting him to say that, no, you don't call us to come to you. You come to us.
No.
But that he's saying that they would rather send the representative
now because
instead of the entire 54.
He was being very careful. They dare not. Pressure. They dare not, because their economy is out there in the Western world. The economy of Africa. The whole of Africa. We don't have 1 trillion GDP. We are not contributing anything to the world. Our contribution to world economy is not up to $1 trillion.
And then the US,
US is about $16 trillion.
Over how many $trillion?
$16 trillion. Look at the comparison. So what are you saying? That country that they grew this thing, is it not somebody? They sat down to grow their economy. I told you the story of US here. How these people sat down and said, we are going to make progress. Maybe I should let you know. After the War of Independence in America, there was no money to pay the soldiers. They surrounded the parliament and said they are going to kill all the parliamentarians for owing them money. The soldiers, they surrounded the parliament and said they are going to kill every one of them, and then make George Washington, the man who led the battle, they are going to make him something next to God, that his own monarchy will be something that is never heard of in the whole world. He's going to be so powerful. Because they saw what the Queen was doing with his Commonwealth and all that. They now wanted to create their own monarchy. After they have surrounded, they now called George Washington to come. That they want to kill this man and install him as the most powerful monarch in the whole world. The man looked at them and said, come. I did not fight the American War of Independence to be an absolute monarchy. He turned back and went back to his farm.
And that would not be an African leader.
One man saved America from such totalitarianism. Precious, try it here. The man will ask you, oh, are you still waiting for me? Go and kill them and let me go inside there and take over the place.
All right, Lagos, let me let you know that the phone lines are open. You're free
when
to
we say
this
is here, it is that I'm telling you how nations are built. Our Nigerian leaders, they don't have any interest in building this country. It's a very, very serious issue. None of them have any interest in building this country. It's just to plunder and plunder and plunder. And you want some of us to be happy. Precious, as I'm talking to you now, over $500 billion of Nigerian money is out there. Some of them encoded in Swiss account. Nigerian leaders, very wicked people. Very, very wicked. They just pack this money, go and dump it somewhere. Money they will never use. Do you know that some of them, we have lost money to this Western world because the owner died. And they are the only one that have the code number. Some of this encoded account. I am telling you, encoded account. Did you remember what happened to $2.8 billion in the 70s that Fela used to sing? Did you remember? Fela used it to sing $2.8 billion. That time, you know how much it is. It's about trillions today. They were probing that money during the Second Republic. They were probing what happened. Midland Bank wrote and told them, yeah, there was such a money in the account, but they don't know the name that put it there. Saraki's father was the one that read the letter that they brought to the National Assembly. When they read it, it was under Shagari's government. 2 weeks into that probe, they overthrew Shagari's government. And who was the NNPC chairman then? Precious, who was the NNPC chairman then? That is your leader. The people, in fact, it is so annoying. If you see what the people have done to you and I, you should be crying. Very wicked set of people. I don't know where they are going with all this money. You can't try this in abroad. Still $1 in China or US, and you are going to enjoy it. It can never happen. But look at billions and billions and billions they are packing every day. Nobody is probing anybody. Nobody is asking questions. We just talk and they just dismiss it as if nothing has happened. And you are telling me that we have leaders. These people, very wicked. They are not thinking of building Nigeria. They are not thinking about it. Don't deceive yourself. The facts are there. Look at what is going on. Oil producing nation, we can't refine 1 gallon of oil. We can't refine. Nobody have sat down and said, But the people that are bringing this oil here, they are refining that on their own country now. They have refineries now. Why can't we do it here? And you are telling me that we have leaders. We should be celebrating and clapping for them, Abi. You have leaders. No single effort to do something meaningful. All they want is deceit. Look at how they came into office. All the things they promised is precious. Nothing. And you are telling me that Satan is not angry with us.
Is this not your perspective? Because the presidents, the current administration accepts that they think that they've done all that they've promised. Even the president has said that in different occasions. Lagos, let me let you know that the phone lines are open.
Where did they? Look, I read some pages in the 191 page achievement. One of the things they said that he built a hospital here. He built this one here. He built a national whatever here. Has he assessed any of those hospitals? Precious. Whenever an American president wants to go on holidays, there is a place they created for that in America. They call it Camp David. Every American president, that is where they go for holidays. Camp David. Everything is like a city on its own. They cannot leave American shores to anywhere. It can never happen. Here we have people. In fact, this thing is so annoying, seriously. You see people who you think that they are leaders. Nothing is inside them. They don't even think. They don't have shame.
All right, Mr. Darlington.
Kindly
calm down.
They will go and mess me
a minute.
up.
Let me take some calls.
All of us. When we go outside here, they will be. When you say they will look at you and look at your leader. No single respect. All right. Just see people who are moving about, carrying big about all over the place with nothing inside their head.
All right. Mr. Darlington, I need to open the phone lines now. 0700 903 903 903. Phone lines are still open. That is 0700 903 903 903. If you're watching from YouTube, you're in the diaspora and you'd like to chime in on the conversation, you can call the WhatsApp line. The WhatsApp number is 0700 903 9039. 0700 903 9039. My messages are knocking off. My phone lines are blowing off. Let's hope that I can survive this. Hello, good evening to you.
Good evening, teacher.
Yes, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Sorry?
Yes, I'm calling from.
Can you help me speak up? I can't hear you properly. Please help me speak up, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Well, go ahead.
Voice is still faint, but just I can manage. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Darlington, I love Mr. Darlington so much. I was listening on the radio. I let me go to your YouTube feed. For the first time, I just want to see
Mr. Darlington.
Just asking. Mr. Darlington, asking. It's just like Oshomole.
He's like Oshomole. He's a comrade. I should be calling you comrade Darlington.
Like a comrade. You know, I love him so much.
All right, go ahead. Speak to the conversation.
He's just like a comrade. I love him so much.
Thank you.
You understand now? You see, this is how we find ourselves at the end of the day. The boss wrote his own call now. I pray, just ask him for me.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. All right, so let me take a few messages. Oh, goodness. Dayo says, next NS will be worse, considering the what Lawan allowed Buhari to have his ways, putting us in nightmare. Now they want to select president to choose. They want the elected president to choose between Akpabio and Ozokalu, who have baggages and criminal great minds and sensitive. Well, you said a lot. You said quite a lot. Now, messages are always a bit too boxed up. I'm sorry, but I think I managed to do justice to it to an extent. Thank you so much. Good evening, Precious. Roto's position on the disgraceful servitude of African leaders to the West is consistent with Leopard Segno's negritude and African pride, as espoused in the now dead Bantu philosophy. Now, but Roto can't hold back the many lackeys among them. So rather than provide leadership in Africa, leaders from Nigeria in particular will be first to arrive in such summits.
I'm telling you, did I not say it here? Yes,
them be the president
that
most of the time.
That is
so
the truth.
London and Paris, I am disgusted. Regards to Mr. Darlington. Sam Ken August sent in that message. Sam Ken John August, thank you so much for your message. And then this says, all right. So this says, good evening, precious. You shine like a diamond. Thank you. Then he said, I appreciate you. Thank you. And you talked about the borrowing thingy, and you talked about the Sharia law. Say you know go work. APC government, please give us better manifesto about the money you guys borrowed. And he said the Labour Party so-called saboteur saying nonsense about a man who has vision and All right. So let me go to the main topic now. He said they left a man with a vision and went with a man that has television, and later watched the man with vision in the stupid television. Precious, I just feel your evening rush like Ira Star, but you they calm down like Rema. Calm down. All right, Mr. Darlington is absolutely correct. Our leaders don't have commitment to improve the nation, but to plunder. A civil servant after 35 years gets less than 1 month's salary of a National Assembly member. The governor's severance package after 4 and 8 years. This is very disgraceful. Good evening, people. Precious. Nigeria would never get it better as long as nepotism, campaign of calumny, you mean, rules. How can senator be a rubber stamp and you expect, or Senate be a rubber stamp and you expect things to work in Nigeria? Precious, you don't have leaders, but we have Luther robbery stamp leaders that do not expect, or you say, so what do you expect? Since Nigeria is going up and down, what has UK, Nigeria will steal money and they will expect, forget about Nigeria. Not quite understandable, but I understand you. Mike from Aswani. So now, Mr. Darlington, let me ask a question, because there is, a huge belief that those benefiting from the corruption in Africa are actually more of this world leaders we're talking about. Because, where, for instance, do the corrupt people in Africa take their monies to? Switzerland, UK, France, US, and all of this. So do you agree that by that, it makes those countries even much more corrupt than the African countries that they blame of corruption?
No, Pressure, you have forgotten. The Abacha loot, is it not the US and UK that have been returning them to us? Mm-hmm. If you can prove that somebody laundered money in their country, they will repatriate it to you.
So, but Mr. Darlington, in the same breath, we have people who have taken money off Nigerian shores of Nigeria, but they give them, the privilege to come and invest those monies in their countries. They give them citizenship by investment. They give them their passport by letting them buy properties and all that in their country. If they rejected them, for instance, if they rejected those, or if they queried the source of those money, do you think that this would continue to strive in Africa? Corruption.
I want to ask you a question. Please. The country they are coming to invest their money, are you the one that built it for them? They built it their country. So if have refused, look, remember you are a sovereign nation. No? Mm-hmm. There is non-interference.
Okay.
No matter how bad the things that they won't talk until maybe things that there is war like in Sudan now where they are trying to make peace for them and all that. They will never interfere. If there is any evidence of criminality against any official and all that, and you can prove it before any court in the US or anywhere, they will oblige. They will return your money. That is what because all of them.
That's not the point. If you say, for instance, it's just like what you said. One minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. It's just like what the instance you gave about Sharia law. You said if you said you don't take alcohol and you destroy alcohol in your state because you don't take it, you don't want to be associated with it, then why benefit from the taxes of Sharia law in other states? Now, the plain truth is, if you are incorruptible, you do not support corruption, why do you enjoy proceeds, or why do you let proceeds of corruption come near your countries?
Hold on. It is not the responsibility of the country you are coming in to say you have corrupt money coming in. It is the country. Nigeria will say, Mr. A, we have evidence that Mr. A, you have so money.
Mr. Darlington, that's not true. I'm sorry, but I have to oppose your objection on this. So you know what I'm saying is that, for instance, Mr. Darlington, if somebody who is a United States citizen is to buy a house for instance, $10 million cash. It is against their law. In fact, naturally, they'll question it. They'll raise an eyebrow. They want to look at your source of income. Do you understand? If, for instance, somebody brings a huge investment from Africa now to them, they don't query you. They don't get to trace your source of income because these guys could actually investigate your source of income and trace it to be sure that it's genuine wealth that you have. But they don't do this. They seem to keep blind eyes when it comes to African countries.
We are not getting it.
What am I not getting?
Hold on, you are not getting it.
Okay.
If your leaders or any of your citizens bring money into their country, it is you. It is you. He who alleges must prove. Remember that they go by the rule of law. It's not everybody that is a rich man there is labeled a criminal. You must be the one to prove, alert the US or UK or whoever that, look, this man, we have evidence that he has laundered so money into your country. Help us bring.
So where then lies your rule of always investigating people who bring investment into your place or your people who buy things frivolously? So your law keeps a blind eye when somebody from another continent brings huge investment to your country. That's what happens.
There is this MLAT, Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty. Nigeria has signed it with the Western world, and it is what concerning what laundering of money. Are you getting what I'm saying? It is left for you. America cannot just see somebody, maybe any of the officials who have brought in money legitimately to invest in their country, and they say
what is the definition of legitimately?
It is left for you. It is left for you.
What is your definition? Okay,
it is left for you. It is left for you as a country.
Mr. Darlington, let me go back to the phone lines.
No, hold on.
It looks like this argument will not end. So let's go back to the phone lines.
If you continue to do that, then every American that invested in Nigeria is a criminal. All these oil majors, they are all criminals. They stole American money and brought them here. Why can't Nigeria probe all these foreign investors?
So why do they probe? Why do they look at their own people who invest anyhow? When they suspect that this investment is too big for an individual, they get to look at your income. They trace your income. So why do they do that to their own people?
That is in their
why
country.
don't? Oh, that is in their country.
Yes,
but the person is bringing the money to invest in their country too. Is it not the same thing?
That's what I'm telling you. It is not for you to report that something is missing.
All right, let me go to the phone lines.
Then America will look at it and say, okay, we are convinced. After all, they are returning Abacha loot now.
All right, let me go back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening to you. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are you there?
Okay, Nedu, you're back, right? Welcome back. Very quickly, please. Go on.
Make I respect myself.
Respect yourself, yes. Thank you for choosing peace.
The Kenya president, what he said is what I have been saying before. How can even some of these countries that invites them, their population is 20 million. Do you know that this Switzerland that they come and hide money, their population is not up to 9 million?
Yes, now, yes. That's the truth.
You would not
not up to 10% of the Nigerian, the entire Nigerian population.
Google their population. Is there. Google it.
You understand? So, but the issue is, it's not about rejecting the invitation. It's about African trade to Africa. Like Nigeria is banning everything, banning, but you want to sell to another country. We don't open African trade to Africa. Let me tell you, most investments, most business that is being done in Europe, for example, all the teas they drink, Lipton tea you see, is being owned by England, but it's being planned and produced. 90% of the workers are from Kenya. It's been produced in Kenya. 90% of the workers are the Kenyans. But the people, the small 10% that earn the money are from England. You understand? So Africa are the labor side, the cheap labor.
But at least they'll provide job opportunity for Africans in Kenya.
What job opportunity? Job opportunity where you earn a penny and someone is earning millions. Hey, Precious, look at it now. Okay, let me tell you. I have, like today, I saw a mango, a dry mango, packed dry mango, 200 gram. It's 4 francs. Is our money 4 francs 40. It's like 3,000 something just for 2,000 for 200 gram. It's from Ghana. I was discussing with my friend. I said this thing now, maybe the cost price from Ghana to leave Ghana is maximum of maybe like 500 naira, but they are selling it almost 4,000 here. Do you know that we buy a mango here? Mango that is coming from Africa, or a mango is like 6 franc. There is one of 2 franc. 2 franc is 1,600, just one mango. The other one is 6 franc. 6 franc is up to 5,000 naira, precious. So, but these things are coming from Africa and South America.
Need you kindly help me wrap up so that I take some more calls? My phone lines
So
are on fire, please.
my wrap up is Africa should first of all open gates for their own Africans to develop their business, because Africans see African business as inferior and believe the one that is being imported or the one that is being produced in China. And this thing that is being produced in China is African material sent to China, reproduced and be sent back to Africa. We are very far away for helping each other.
Thank you.
What he says, I love it. But first of all, they should make African trade to Africa. All Africa, not just West Africa, ECOWAS. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, let me run through some messages. And this says, Precious, please stop watering down the imports of people's message by your censorship, provided such posts are not subversive. After all, NBC Lai Mohammed's 5 million vexation clampdown has been questioned or quashed by the court. Tony Anele, unfortunately, by the time I read some things, you'll be surprised and amazed at the slam that will be given to this station. And this says, Precious and Darlington, the great Precious, don't you know you're more beautiful like this when you put on makeup? When you put on makeup than when you put on makeup. Oh, really? I really love that you people are doing and teaching us. My eye open more every day. Great Darlington to your station. My heart is bleeding for this country, for what you are saying. Precious Zukwani Kebiko. I will not Zukwani K for Mr. Darlington. I will not Zukwani K today. Nobody should own me. You should not own me. I don't want. Let Nigeria not try this nonsense Sharia establishment. Okay, that's what you said. He said Delta, Edo, Lagos, and all that. It will not work. Okay. And then this said, good evening, Madam Precious and Darlington. There is a novel titled The Devil on the Cross by Watungu, a Kenyan writer. Have you read it? All right.
I heard about it, but I've not read it.
What this man wrote is exactly what is happening to Nigerians. The Kenyan elite who was involved in looting the indigenous people of Kenya was destroyed in the same way God shall nail. God, they call that for heaven. No. Sorry, sir, pause, slap face. He said, in the same way God shall nail the devil with his agents on the cross that are looting Nigerians in Jesus' name. He said thanks and God bless you, Mr. Darlington. More grace to your elbow. Regina Chile Ekbewechi from Uganda sent in that message. All right. So very quickly, this says, wow, one of my best, Mr. Darlington. He said that failed to give his handle to us the other time. I just joined it now. He said, okay. He said no lights in Iba. Coming back from VI to Iba is crazy. Nigeria will just walk though. Okay, so Nigeria will not walk though. I don't know the top. He said a lot. Frank from Iba sent in that message. And then this says, good evening, Precious. Nigeria has no problem at all. The only now has left for us to the masses to come together and fight all these rulers in a change of Nigerian affair. In charge of Nigerian's affair. That's what you're saying. I see. This is Ekele from Agege. Oh God, you cannot fight anybody. Let me just tell you, it's a holy work. Fight will not solve this problem. BC Nwoko from His Royal Highness BC Nwoko from Oshodi says, God bless Precious for giving us Mr. Darlington. He's a man full of wisdom and passion for well-being of Nigeria and Igbo race. For the Senate President saga, I prefer giving Senate presidency to Mr. Off the mic than to give it to Igbo man. Well, you said a lot. So let's go back to the phone lines, Lagos. Lagos 0700 903 903. 903.
Something close to what you are saying is what Okonjo-Iweala said.
That
Okonjo-Iweala said that.
Mr. Ramsey, can you help me hold the thought? Let's take this caller. You come down. Sorry. Hello, good evening to you. All right. So go ahead.
Precious,
okay, he's still there. All right, go ahead.
Precious, thank you.
All right, go ahead.
This is Tayo calling from Oba.
Tayo, you're welcome. Go ahead.
We don't need Sharia law. Okay? We don't need it.
All right.
We need driving record. Driving record. You don't issue driver's license for anybody to operate anything without having a process how to revoke it. All over Europe, in America, when I first did my driver's license in Germany, they gave me a paper to sign. They wrote, driving is not a right enshrined in the Constitution. It is a privilege. If you misuse the privilege, we are going to revoke that privilege. So that is why you see their police everywhere issuing tickets. The same thing when I arrived in California. I signed the same paper before they gave me my driver's license. Precious, if you have any infraction on maybe you did not obey traffic law, you are speeding or anything, once the police arrest you, they will issue you a ticket. You have the right to go to court and fight that ticket or you pay the fine.
That's all.
But if you go and contest it, they will send your picture, everything, they will send it to the judge. Once they find you guilty, it now goes into the record. So anytime
Unfortunately, your line is muffled up. Apologies.
The line is,
Apologies. Sorry about that. Your line is muffled up. All right.
That is true. Look,
hello.
Traffic offense is like a criminal offense.
Hello.
All right. Hello. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Precious.
Thank you. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Please help me speak up.
My name is Emmanuel. Can you hear me?
All right. Go ahead, Emmanuel. Very quickly.
Precious, you know, say you called me off yesterday.
Talk now.
And they have lifted the ban that they placed on you people.
These people. That's not it, though. That's not how it is, oh. That's not how it is, oh. So because they've lifted, therefore you cannot come and abuse people here. Abi?
I go soon cut them off again. I just the wait to make you one right here and again. Now me you want put for trouble, Abi. It's not me.
No cut me off, because I will sue you.
No problem. No
you
problem.
take me to court.
No problem.
I will take you to court too.
Oh, yeah, very quickly. I contribute on what we're talking about.
Precious.
Sir.
Precious.
Sir.
What the president of Kenya, what is pushing to now, I think they can never get it.
Why?
This is not the right. This is not the right time to do this. See, as a president, you have to call other African presidents together and sit on one table and see.
He said that's the agreement they're having as African leaders. Did you not hear that?
You did not listen. They have already agreed, but implementation is the issue.
See, President, can you hear me?
Very well, go ahead.
I saw how they packed our African president during Queen's funeral. They packed them inside one bus, just like.
That's what he said now, that they packed them like school children.
Just like they pack.
And you know the thing, if the United States president is to come there, they'll let him come with his beast.
Of course, now the Hercules will carry his special car and land in the airport.
They don't treat African leaders with respect. They don't treat us with respect. They see us as nothing.
So whose fault is it really?
It's the fault of our leaders. See, Precious, the true fact is that Africa, we are still suffering from, will I call it post-slavery mentality or what? They just took out the chains on our legs and they incited the slavery mentality on us, that we be able to think outside the box.
All right. Thank you.
If Africa will try to industrialize Africa as their own continent, just like Nigeria now, swearing that they will not go to the Westerners to refine their oil. If they choose to do everything here in Nigeria and in Africa, these people will not get upper hand on us. they are just taking advantage of our low mentality. That is what
I don't agree that we have low mentality. Thank you so much. I appreciate you anyway. But I do not agree that we have low mentality. Mr. Darlington, before you go back to what you were saying, we have one of the, in almost every field of life, some of the most intelligent people you see in that field would be Nigerians or Africans.
Exactly.
So how can we have some of the best minds in the world, and and we're saying that because we have low mentality?
Good.
What lowered our mentality?
You see, Precious, let me tell you, Okonji Wala have just told you. You remember the struggle before this woman became the DG of WTO?
Yes.
This woman had been raising alarm that African leaders are not taking advantage of African free trade agreement. That their tariff is too high. That is why the African trade is not moving forward. She has been saying it, nobody will listen to her. Precious, did you know how China and India, two of the biggest countries in population size, they close their door to Western influences? In fact, Mahatma Gandhi told them, the British people that colonized them, we are going to take your education and your whatever, this is technology, but our culture will retain it.
And they kept it. They held it very dearly.
I said,
even their religion they held.
I said, when you see an Indian man, you don't need to be told who he is. Precious, when all of us live here and go to the outside world, you don't know who is an Igbo man. You don't know who is the Hausa man. You don't know who is the Yoruba man. We don't even have a dress culture. Is that not true? But an Indian man, watch him. They said they close their door. They don't wear English clothes and all that. Mahatma Gandhi, they came to him and said, sir, we don't have clothes to wear. The man said, if Indians cannot make their own clothes, let them go naked. And they put their foot down. That was how the Indians went into desert technology.
And their textile industry is huge.
I said they are the one
massive.
in charge of your technology, what's it called, your textile industry in Nigeria here. I have worked in one of them. So you don't need to tell me. They are in control. One man's decision. Go to China. They were calling them iron curtain and all that. China closed their door. They closed their door and said they will never patronize these people. America and the Western world, they were taunting them, calling them names. They didn't bother. Because they have a leader who saw tomorrow, Chairman Mao. He insisted on cultural revolution. Precious, look at it today. The China man you are hearing today, the Chairman that is surviving today, the Chairman that is eating today is Chairman Mao. He was deliberate about it because he knew what China will become tomorrow. He saw where China was going.
So what do we call the problem that we have with leadership? Do we call it greed?
I said we have people
or lack of vision.
We have people who are too selfish. Precious, we are never a nation.
Because I don't want to say that we're not intelligent. I know we're one of the most intelligent.
We have selfish people. The wrong people are leading us. We have never had leaders. All our leaders, like Bob Marley was singing, they have killed all our prophets.
So how can we be in a situation where the probably the not so good of us
rules
the best of us?
All our prophets are gone. They deliberately eliminated them so that they can dominate the scene. Look at it now.
All right,
I am telling you that if we had politicians of from Fusha William to Bola Ige to all of them, there are people who cannot even come and talk. They can't even come out for local government election.
Let's go back to the phone line.
They can't come out.
All right. Hello, good evening to you.
They can't come out.
Yeah, good evening, Precious.
Thank you.
My
Welcome.
name is Dallas.
Go ahead.
I'm calling from the treasure.
Your name is what, please?
My name is Dallas.
Dallas. You're welcome. Go ahead.
Dallas.
All right.
Dallas from Dallas or what?
Dallas from Ikeja. You're welcome.
Darlington.
Yes, my brother.
I appreciate everything you're saying regarding Africa and their leaders. But let me tell you, the question we've never asked is, these African leaders, where did they come from?
Africa.
Are they really Africans?
I don't know where.
Why would they not be Africans?
I don't know.
What do they think about Africa? Precious, let me tell you. Apple today is a company that worth $3.7 trillion.
Yes.
Do you know that the major ingredients they are using to produce their gadgets come from Congo here?
Exactly.
And what is the GDP of Congo?
So that means they buy it very cheap from Congo.
Of course, that's why there will never be
That
peace
is what
there
I'm
now.
saying.
Since 1960,
That is
Congo
what
have
I'm
never
saying.
had peace. Since 1960. Agbo
What
heroes
is
you
going
fought
on
there.
with Africans? You go to Europe, you go to America, they despise you, they discriminate against you, they take you as nobody. Meanwhile, 65% of raw materials that kept their factory running comes
It's
from
from
Africa.
Africa.
What's wrong with us?
It's from Africa. We have leaders who don't
So
have
now
foresight.
I have a problem. I have a problem. Can I ask a question? Because I have a problem.
Precious, finish. Precious, let me hold on, please.
Go ahead.
Sometimes I see the emotion and the passion Darlington is speaking with. I am more angrier than Darlington. It's better you don't know what is going on. You can go to your house and sleep. But if you know what is going on, you can't sleep.
I'm telling you. Seriously.
Precious, they say that currency speculation depends on trade forces. We all agree. Why is it that a unit of Western money from the West, their own currency, is worth hundreds and thousands of our own? These currencies are backed up by gold reserve. Meanwhile, we Africans are the ones with actual gold deposits. What's going on? What is happening? These people they call leaders of Africa for years. What do they do? Each time they gather to discuss about Africa, what do they discuss? Let me give you an example. Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Nigeria are the highest exporters of cocoa. They export it to Europe. A company like Nestle, Cadbury, or whatever, they buy them and use them to make chocolate. At the end of the year, the CEO of Cadbury will write a letter to the owners of the company that he needs £5 million for his holidays. They will constitute the management. They will come together and say, what is the problem? They say, the CEO wants £5 million. One person will raise the question and said, how much has he made for the company? They said he made £3 or £4 billion. What are you waiting for? Approve, let him have the money. They will give this man £5 million. This man will go and charter a private jet from Heathrow Airport or Gatwick, anywhere, carry his family and travel to Bahamas, Barbados, El Salvador, any of these Caribbean countries. They will sleep in Marriott hotels, Waldorf Astoria, Intercontinental, Sheraton, name them. The main people that started this business from Africa cannot even carry their children to the nearest hotel around them in their city. Can a cocoa farmer in Ondo State carry his children and go to Burkato Ranch to go and have holidays?
It's not possible. It's not possible.
And we have people we vote, we queue in the line every day to vote them in.
So can I go ahead and ask my question now?
Go ahead.
All right. So my question is, if we have all these great minds, right, and we have all of this vast natural mineral resources that we also have the knowledge, and we know that these mineral resources are the key to the economy of most of this Western world and Western investment, then what stops our sensibility from using it to also develop our own economy? That's what I worry about.
It's all about,
because the West is not stopping us from also building our own Apple, for instance, and ensuring that we take or somebody from Congo building his own Apple product and using that same material to also do that. Nobody is stopping anyone from taking the Ukrainian or the blue gold, like Madam would call it, that Hausa lady will call it, to do whatever, build whatever we want to build. What is stopping us? Who is stopping our sensibility?
It is leadership.
And intelligence.
It is leadership.
Our leaders are stopping us.
Our leaders are the worst culprit in this matter. If you have a leader, they will not allow criminals to come in here and steal your pure gold. Nigerian gold in the north is the best in the whole world. They have a place where they sell Nigerian gold in Dubai. Up to tomorrow, is a special market for gold, Nigerian gold. I am telling you authoritatively. As we are speaking here now, the stealing is going on somewhere in the north. Helicopters are landing there. Our leaders are getting caught. That's why they can never talk. They prefer to be bigger than their states. They will come after stealing so much money. They will now come and boast. Do you know that I'm richer than your state? And nobody will ask him, where did you get the money that made you richer than my state? Is it not stolen money? Nobody will question. That is what we have. Leaders who are so selfish. Money they can never spend. Even their great-grandchildren cannot spend it. They pack it somewhere so that they can use the money and do whatever they like. The Western world knows them, so that's why they will use them against us. They will not. They said they know the greedy ones among them, like Judas.
Is an accomplice,
like
Judas,
to
crime, not a criminal.
Like Judas, they will get them, use them against them, empower them, give them all they need.
So that means they're also corrupt, because an accomplice to a crime is also a criminal, isn't it?
Hold on.
Is it not they do now that say that if somebody is in the car with driver's license and allows you drive when you're drunk, the person's driver's license will also be revoked?
Hold on, Precious. Do you think that the same thing? Hold on. Do you think that the Western world, they came here to do Father Christmas for you? Do you think that they are stupid? If you want them to eat you, they eat you now. So don't you know that it is when Mugu fall, guy man go chop?
So you know that you agree that accomplices to all of this.
If you don't have sense, they will make you now.
All right.
Why not go to America and go and steal money from them?
Let me go back to the phone
go to America and influence their leader.
All right. Hello, good evening to you.
Why not go to America and influence their leader?
Good evening, Precious. This is Carol.
Carol, where are you calling from?
From the United States.
All right. You're welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a few words. It's not just stealing, it's greed.
Greed.
Our leaders are greedy. You know, they do that because they are greedy. It's not, they travel. All of them travel everywhere. They come to the United States. They go everywhere in the world. They see how developed those countries are. So when somebody is greedy, that's when they want to take everything and they don't care about the masses. So in my own opinion, I think our leaders or the African leaders are greedy. That's just it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate
That's the truth.
Thank you.
Because look at what we are blessed with. What are we doing with it? Tomorrow now we start blaming God. When they have looted all these resources, we start blaming God that God did not bless us.
All right. Hello. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you. Welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from the Gambia. My name is James.
James, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yes, I can. I've been listening to their conversation. They are making a point, but however, let's look at it from a slightly different perspective.
Okay, let's hear that angle.
You remember a man called Murtala Mohammed in Nigeria? The day he was killed, February 13th, 1976.
Yes.
He was at the British High Commission in Lagos. Sorry. The man who killed him, Sukabuka Dimka, was at the British High Commission in Lagos.
Yes.
Yes. Now, another issue is Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. When he was overthrown, it was the handiwork of the CIA.
Exactly.
Patrice Lumumba of Congo, the horrors he went through is because of the stand he took on African affairs. Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe, that man did not know peace because he tried to repossess the land that was that was forcibly taken from his people by the white colonialists. Whenever Africans have progressive leaders, they don't know peace. The root cause of this problem is colonialism. When the white men were living in 1960, they handed power over to men and women of their choice. And whosoever goes against this, their interest will not know peace. Now, first of all, they will tell you, for you to progress, you need to, trade with the West. That is the only way to make.
Is it not our own that they're using to use against us? So why will our own people allow themselves to be used?
Excuse me, madam. They tell you trade with the West. Trade with the West has not yielded us anything. Look at slave trade, lasted 400 years. We gained nothing. They brought what they call legitimate trade. We gained nothing from it, from minerals and agricultural produce and what have you. Now, the problem is that for you to make a headway in this, the world we live in, we just have to distance ourselves from the West, or conditional disengagement from, excuse me, listen to me please, or conditional disengagement from the West. If we don't do that, we have a very long way to go, because it is the mineral resources from Africa that is fueling the economy. If Africans are now turning to the East or other parts of the world, it is to the disadvantage of the West. So it's up to Africans to open their eyes. And we are caught in a trap. Look at all the corrupt African leaders. Where do they keep their money? You will never hear that they kept their money in China, in Taiwan, in Japan. No, it's London, Paris, New York, and what have you. This problem is rooted in Western colonialism. If the West, the so-called Western civilization, in fact, it is only the total collapse of Western civilization that will rescue Africa from this problem. No matter how hard you strive. Look at this man, what's his name in Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. When he was a military head of state, when they tried to kidnap Umaru Diko, he was anti-West. But this same man is now going back to them, eating and drinking, going to their hospitals and what have you. He's now their very good friend. So there's more to this problem than we are seeing. If the Western civilization do not collapse totally, we will never get out of it. Thank you so much for giving me enough time.
Exactly. You see, we need a leader. Precious. We need somebody who will put his foot down and said enough is enough. That is what we need in Nigeria.
All right.
Even Ichino Achebe said it in his book.
Hello, Mr. Darlington.
Yes, my brother.
Mecca back on the land.
Okay.
During the time of Muhammadu Buhari, with Tunde Diabo, Muhammadu Buhari was not the person in control. It was Tunde Diabo.
Oh, yeah.
They brought him in. He wasn't in control. Who that was in control was Tunde Diabo. You know, Tunde Diabo was killed. You know that? See, we are, like the first time I called, Mr. Darlington, we Nigerians are the problem of ourselves. Look at the developed world. You see how they start laboring physically to success. You saw the ages, how they move. You know, and when they are being led purely by people. When they are moving, they know where they are moving. Are we like that, Mr. Darlington? What is happening in our inner community, in our families? Is that how they are over there? We need total reorientation. We have to go there and start impacting good moral to the younger generation. We projected in the next 10, 15 or 20 years, we have gotten better kids. We will start moving. Not that we will stop this time around. We will not stop it around. And I want to ask a question. Let's assume Emeka has not been working. Emeka started working this month. Then December, Emeka buy a Jeep of 20 million and start to build a house. How many times we ask Emeka question? If not, Emeka, I have to do Thanksgiving in the church. God has blessed him. Is it not student? We are working. So we are the problem of ourselves. We need total reorientation before our secret prayer will start to have effect. If not, our prayer will don't try to be sick. Let me stop here. Thank you.
Thank you
Precious, leadership. Whether civilian democracy or whatever, it is leadership. Remember when Buhari and the Diabo came? Why? War against indiscipline. You saw how Nigeria was. Because of this no-nonsense stance of Idiagbo, that was why they removed him. If Idiagbo were to be in Nigeria, that coup wouldn't have happened. Babangida wouldn't have taken over. Somebody invited Idiagbo to Saudi Arabia to come for Hajj. And he went there with his 14-year-old son. It was when he left this country that they were able to remove Buhari from office. And they said he should not come back. He still came back. Idiagbo was supposed to be the first chairman of EFCC. Precious, they interviewed him. They picked his brain and sounded him out. And they discovered that this man, with his no-nonsense posture, he can even arrest a president for corruption. That was why they did not give him that job. The only thing they did to remember Idiagbo was to name EFCC building in Abuja, Idiagbo House. You ask yourself, why Idiagbo House? What is his connection with it? Because they knew he was the man who's supposed to be there. That was the man that would have brought discipline to this country. Precious, if we don't close our doors to Western influence, we are not going anywhere. All the things we are blaming these people, do you know whether they are blackmailing them? Do you know whether they are under serious blackmail? All these leaders, do you know? Why do you think they're always going there? They don't call them, come. Even if they are in their bedroom with their wife, they say, tomorrow I want to see you. They will jet out. You think it's for nothing? They are under serious blackmail, but they will not say it.
So in other words, we should exonerate them of every blame.
Why should I exonerate them? They bought it now. They bought it. If they say no, what will happen?
Right.
That is why if you look at the what's it called, the Arabian nations, they don't deal with the West now. Iran and Iraq, they are never in good time with the West because they know what they know. They will always find them to say, but here, whatever they feed us, we will swallow it without asking questions.
We have to take. We
don't have leaders.
We need some time to take some calls.
We don't have leaders.
So that we let people incorporate people to this discussion. Hello, good evening. Yes, please.
Hello, good evening, President.
Thank you, welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Kindly help me make it
My
snappy.
name is Chinonso. Good evening, the great Darlington.
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening, the great Darlington.
He's answering you.
Good evening. Good evening.
Okay. You see, what Mr. Darlington is saying is true. It's perfect. Because even this past campaign, the day I know that P2B will have problem in his campaign, the day he went to a Chatham House and said, oh, Nigeria port authority is the only port authority that have office in the United Kingdom.
I'm telling you. These are issues now.
All right. Hello. All right. Okay, so let me quickly rush through some messages.
There are a lot of evil here, Precious. It's not that we cannot say everything, and you will not even allow us, because we're supposed to let Nigerians know so that they will be aware of what is sucking their blood. I'm telling you, they should be aware of what is sucking their blood. It is when you galvanize the populace, they can fight for their rights. If we continue in the next 2 million years, Precious, this thing will continue. I am sure people like Awolowo, Azikiwe and others, they will be turning in their grave now with anger, because this is not what they wanted now. These are leaders who would have said no to these people. They stood their ground. The people that took over from them, what did they do? I know an Awolowo, he won't compromise. Awolowo will not compromise. You remember when he died, Ojukwu went there and said, the only president that Nigeria never had.
All right, Mr. Darlington, let's run through some messages. Messages are waiting. Obina Noron from Ayobo, Lagos said, for the Western world to respect Africa, the process that produces African presidents and governors must be credible, free and fair without frauds. Look at what happened in the 25th of February election, a poll that the world has condemned for massive irregularities. How do you expect the white man to respect Nigeria? Look at the Cameroon leader who has been president for over 40 years. No room for creative leadership there. How do you expect the world to see us? Africa's economy can only be built by Africa, but a price must be paid for it. That's what you said. And then this says, Precious, good evening. I will continue to say it. Nigeria as a constituted today cannot work where we are different nations and cultures, and you said a lot concerning that.
Yeah, they did it deliberately now. They know it cannot work. That's why they put us together.
So you say you cannot mix oil and water.
I'm telling you.
Federalism be practiced here to reduce the frictions that exist in this forceful amalgamation that you said. So you said a lot there. I appreciate you.
And
you said your name is Alex from Iju. And then Moses from Ijeododo. Is that how do you call it?
Ijeododo, yes.
Ijeododo, all right. So Moses says, about the culpability of Western world in Africa's corruption problem. Precious, if your neighbor's child is so stupid as to rob his father to enrich you, are you to blame? I'm not to blame, but I will not let it enrich me, right? Just as a dog does not watch over a neighbor's compound, so the foreign governments don't owe us the job of watching our back.
I'm telling you.
And then the man from the Gambia forgot to mention Muammar Gaddafi of Libya. I wanted to also say that he was killed because of his dream of a vibrant EU.
In fact, when Obama said he regretted that they didn't replace Gaddafi, that they did not make a provision for somebody that will take over for Gaddafi, and that's why the whole thing went berserk. Apart from that, what they did in Libya was not too good. He regretted it now when he saw what happened after. All because Gaddafi, the per capita income in Libya was 10 times higher than that of America. Americans were going to Libya to do chaffee. Americans.
All right, this message says Africans are still suffering from neo-colonialism. Temple from our Papa sent in that message. And then this says, Precious, please read the people's message loud. Stop what you are doing. I don't like it. Nigeria is still talking about road law while the countries are going to the moon to study the surface of the earth. Look at the country like Japan. They're living in the future while Nigeria is going back to Egypt. Mr. Darlington, I thank you for your support. I salute you, my man, because you are the best. I love you. And then he says, Nigeria is a country that has over 40 mineral resources. When I see Qatar progressing, I think of Nigeria. I wonder if na granite oil where they sell, where will they sell? Because the way we borrow money is insane. Prince from Ilasa sent in that message. And then this says, Mr. Darlington is speaking the minds of people's good-spirited Nigerians. It's so painful and so annoying that the so-called leaders travel outside with our money without learning anything good from them. Only wickedness and evil senators. Wickedness and evil. Senator from Isolo sent in that message. And then I run through a bit more. Okay. He says, it's not fair that you are editing text. So I stated the reality of facts, but the journalists want to shield the politicians. I suppose they fine you for not coming yesterday. I want to ask you, one of the anchor of this morning show in Wazubia TV. Okay, he said, are you one of the anchors? Yes, I am. I am one of the anchors. Yes, I'm the only female anchor. I also want to ask if Mr. Darlington, to ask Mr. Darlington, what is going to be your recommendation to stop or eradicate corruption in Nigeria if Obi should enter? Thank you, sir. He asked you your
very good.
Read this.
Very good good question. Obi did it in Anambra. He told you what he did. All these frivolities, all this nonsense that they are doing in government house, Obi did not do it. He said if you tell him that you are coming to visit him, Obi will tell you, don't bother, I will come to your house. Obi said it, and people confirmed it in Anambra. You don't see merriment in government house. You don't. If you want to visit any community, he will come to your community. All the leaders there will gather. He will tell you what you want to tell and go home. It is even you people that will buy drink for him and all that, and he put in his boot and go home. You don't come and share money in Anambra under Obi. You don't. That's why he was able to succeed. All this money, pressure, do you know how much we waste every day on frivolities? Do you know how much? Things that will cost, look at Obi said they wanted to renovate a government house and buy him a bed that is worth 20-something million. He said what? Bed that he will sleep on. He called a cabinet maker, say how much can he use to do this? He said the bed he was sleeping was about 150,000 naira. They did it for him. That's the bed they said they have budgeted 20-something million naira for him bed. P2B cut it. That was where he got money to do all he did. By the time you say nobody will eat money, you too, you will not eat money. People will follow suit. All right,
Mr. Darlington, in one minute, kindly wrap up your thoughts so that we say our goodbyes.
Precious, what I'm saying here, unless we elect leader, look, I have been telling these people, let them be very careful. Oh. You see this thing they are doing, thinking that Nigerians are stupid. The day will come when they will no longer hide anywhere. Let them do the right thing. Nigerians are choking. Pressure. Nigerians are choking. If they remove this fuel subsidy without any palliative, it will be worse. So we are saying it now. Let everybody hear our voice.
You don't want palliative.
Hold on. Because we know what happened in France when they increased the price of bread. We knew what happened. We knew what happened in Russia in 1718. Human beings are the same. We don't want anything that will cause problem here because of what these leaders are doing. The level of wastage is too much. It is too much. The level of stealing is too much. Meanwhile, people are suffering. Are you waiting until the day they will carry something and enter the street before you do the right thing? Is that what you are waiting for? Let it be a record that we said it. Let it be a record because it is so annoying. Leaders are just jetting out to spending our money anyhow. All these frivolities on whose pocket? Court suya is from the body of a cow. It is cow. Any suya you see outside, the meat is from a cow. And who are these cows? Nigerian people. Precious Nigerian people. People are suffering here, and you are just living large, living big, living like an emperor. You don't even care. You don't bother about them, and they are watching you. The day it will happen, let nobody be surprised. Let nobody be so, because we have been saying it, they don't want to hear. All these things that they are doing are thinking that they have power. No power on earth can defeat hunger. And a hungry man is an angry man. No power on earth can defeat hunger. Let them go and read history. And I'm saying it authoritatively. Let them go and read history. All the people that are saying nothing will happen, did they believe that answers will happen? Did they believe? No, did they think that answers will happen?
Oh yeah, Mr. Darlington, somebody said the amount of my name you have called today, that it looks as if you're the person who gave me the name. And somebody said you're sentimental, you're not speaking true to the fact. All right. Lagos, thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing time being with Mr. Darlington today. And just as I said yesterday, by next week Friday, I'll be off for a vacation. I'll be, off for 2 weeks, and Esther will be joining Mr. Darlington Mondays and Thursdays. So be kind to them on my behalf. I plead with you, right? Thank you so much to everyone who's made the show a success. I appreciate you all. Thank you for your thoughts, your reactions. For those I couldn't take your messages or your calls couldn't pull through, apologies. It's not deliberate. We have our phone lines bombarded with calls. I did not take half of the SMSs or WhatsApps I had. I'm just going through them, off air. I appreciate you guys so much. Remember to join us again tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. for another edition of the show. My name is Precious Enyi. If you want to catch me up on Instagram, is at Precious Enyi Official. Precious ENYI Official. All together, Precious Enyi Official. That's my name. And of course, on Twitter is Precious_Enyi. Do have yourself an amazing evening, Mr. Darlington. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Precious. Okay, they said I called you too much. Okay, thank you, ma.